Hello and welcome everyone to this week's episode of the podcast. It is lovely to have you here. And this week we have some exciting news as usual, but some really exciting news. The podcast topic that we're going to be covering today is 7 mistakes jewelers make with growing their jewelry business and how to overcome them with the Jewellery Business Academy. So the Jewellery Business Academy is officially open, woohoo, for the 2026 intake. We start early January. It's Monday, the 5th of January that we kick off, but you can sign up from now. And we encourage you to sign up as early as possible because then we can start working together and warming up together. So come January, we'll have a whole year of business training to work through together. And the Jewellery Business Academy, for anyone who doesn't know, opens once a year. And it is our main way that we help jewelers to grow profitable, successful, sustainable businesses. So it's a complete 1-year training. We do it together as a group, and we're going to talk a lot more about it, but also cover these mistakes that we all can make as jewelers. So I want you to listen out for any that you can relate to. And please don't feel bad if you feel like you are stuck in any of these at the moment. It's very normal. And that is why we are here to help and offer some tools and some support to be able to really be thriving in our businesses and just living in that really good flow where we are making money, we're making a profit, we love making our jewelry, we've got great customers, all the things that we want. And I know some of you are already there, which is brilliant. And we love taking people on that journey. So I'm joined today by the wonderful Anna Campbell. Anna has helped create this course as well. We have a whole team of experts and Anna is one of them. So welcome, Anna. Thanks for coming and sharing about this today.
Oh yes, I'm so excited to share about this actually. It's been interesting to see how our business training has evolved over time. And this is such a great year, really solid year of training. So yeah, it's excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you speak about the evolution, and some of you guys may have known that years ago we used to run an annual program called the Jewellery Business Bootcamp, which was an 8-week course where we just kind of tried to teach as much business training as possible. And it was a great program, but the feedback was always, there's just not enough time. There's not enough time to do it all. It's too overwhelming. And so what I love about this course is we have a whole year together. We work every week together and we work through different content each month. And it just really helps spread it out. And many of our jewelers do the course over and over again with us, because the truth about running a jewelry business is you're never done. There's always more to do. You kind of do the same again the next year, but you're a bit different. Your business is a bit different. So what you're able to do and what you're able to learn kind of expands. So we're excited to have people from this year join us again for next year as well. And we all help each other because some people are much further along the journey. So this is for you if you're starting a business. This is for you if you've been in business for a decade or more, and everyone in between, because it's about your journey and your learning rather than everyone being at the same level. And what I love about that is we lift each other up, and people can learn, who are further along, learn from people starting out, because they sort of remember being there and think, oh my gosh, I do know a lot more than I think. And it helps with the confidence and those kind of things. And people more at the beginning of their journey learn from people who've been doing it for many years as well. So it's a lovely vibe. It's a lovely community. And we love having all the content and all the calls with people in the Business Academy. And people have been asking, when's it opening again? And it is finally open. But like I said, you sign up now or whenever you like, and it starts on the 5th of Jan. So we've got a little bit of time to get ready and to get there. So we're going to talk through, Anna, aren't we, these 7 mistakes. We're going through and thinking, what is it? What are the challenges that we face as jewelers that are quite universal to us? And how does this course really help them? And it targets them in lots of different ways. So it's a great way to have a conversation about some of these real kind of challenging points. So first up, and maybe the most obvious, is industry-specific knowledge, or a lack of industry-specific knowledge. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of us can fall into, especially in the first few years in our business, is this expectation that we should just know stuff. And how on earth can we know stuff if we've not been told? And when I first started my business, I did jewelry business training courses, and I did lots of them because I needed people who'd been there before me to tell me, what is a hallmark? How does that work? How do I apply for and get into trade shows? How do I create a collection and do it in a really professional way so I could approach a shop or a gallery? How do I price my jewelry? What if I'm making fine jewelry? How is that different to perhaps silver work? What if I want to work with commissions? All of this stuff it's so specific to our industry. And the great news is that it's not actually that hard when you know how. And there are people that know, and they're really happy and willing to share that knowledge with you. So this is kind of the what or the how of doing things. It's like the how to run a jewelry business. It's not everything. There's lots of other things we need to cover, but a lot of the course content that's going to be covered in this program will be teaching you these foundational skills. Anna, do you want to chat a little bit around this topic as well?
Yeah, I think this is what's so key about this program is that this is so specific. This is for jewelry businesses. It's not for all creative businesses, although a lot of it will relate, of course, but it is very much specific to jewelry businesses. And what I've loved is, you came to Scotland to film up here with me, which is where I am and where the lovely Karen Young is. You went to film in people's studios. So sometimes business content, it's what it is, but it's nice to be able to kind of see where people work, how people work, to learn from different people who've had businesses, working in different ways. So for me, I specialize more in the teaching side of things, but then you also went to Karen, who specializes in jewelry making, but also photography, and Ellen, who specializes very much in the making and selling, as well as Emma Renee. So there's lots of people to learn from, I think, is key. Obviously there's you too, really established jewelry business and entrepreneur and award-winning, I'll put that out there too. So it's brilliant to have that, and that you and the gorgeous film crew came and visited us, and we worked on that. So we're making it as engaging as we possibly can, and I think it's great to learn from different people because there's something we can take from everyone else's experiences, and I think it helps move us forward faster. I love this thing that trial and error involves error. So let's stop doing trial and error and try and work it all out for ourselves, because we just don't have time to do that. We want to learn. We want to just go, okay, how do I do this? Oh, this is how. And I think that's what's brilliant about the Jewellery Business Academy, because it's got that full 12 months of things to work on.
Absolutely. Yeah, such a good point, Anna. And you're right. The filming, we've upped our game with the filming for sure. The film crew are incredible as always. But like you said, we went on tour to film this. So we've been up to Edinburgh with Anna, Glasgow with Karen Young, who's a professional jewelry photographer, also a professional marketeer. So she covers a lot of the content on websites, on marketing, and of course on photography as well. And then we went to Bristol to see Ellen. And what I loved is we kind of see around people's workshops. So really bringing it to life, because you're right, business content, whilst we all need it, it can be a bit dry if it's just like a PowerPoint or something like that. It's okay, if we have to do it, we can do it. But how wonderful to see these different people in these different studios and real life jewelers running their businesses. Ellen is a wholesale jeweler as well. So she talked a lot about the wholesale process and shops and galleries, but also she's incredible at design. So we talked a lot about signature style, creating collections, creating your first collection, creating your next collection. And, there's just so much in there because it is a year-long program. It's very content rich. And the type of content, like you said, is very engaging because we're looking at jewelry, we're looking at collections, we're looking at workshops, we're talking about business, and it really kind of brings it to life. And I think it makes it exciting because I'm always a fan of not separating jewelry making and business as two separate things, but seeing it as one feeds the other. So as the business grows, guess what? We get to buy more tools. We get to do more training. We can make more jewelry. And without the business growing, many of us can't keep making jewelry in the way that we want to, because we may have to work another job or various things. So they really support each other. And when we can start to see them in a more holistic way as a whole and try and enjoy both sides of it, you may not enjoy every part of the business, but as much as you can, it's so varied, and it can be a really enriching way to live your life running these types of businesses when it's going well for you. And then, of course, we went to Tunbridge Wells and filmed with Emma Renee. Emma is a brand specialist. She's brilliant at kind of visual merchandising as well. Anything visual, Emma is your girl. And again, just very kind of knowledgeable, succinct. And we have the wonderful Kelly Twigg, who teaches on Instagram. So we're really lucky with the team that we have access to. And there's also a whole team of mentors, which we'll talk about in a little bit too. But there's just nothing like this out there, where you can basically have a whole crew of professional jewelers who just want to share with you how to do it and just want to be with you on the journey while you do it. Because for us, it's deeply rewarding to see other people find something that they love, make it work, and have a much better quality of life as a result of it. So yeah, great team of experts. So industry specific knowledge will be ticked.
Definitely. And I think sometimes, I don't know what everyone's experience of this can be, but it can be difficult to break into that. If you've got people around you, a lot of times people are very, very closed off around their knowledge. And that could be around making, but also around business and growing a business. So you've got a group of people who are like, here it is. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is what's working right now. And I think that's the thing that I'm loving about it, is being able to kind of come to these different people who have nailed a particular area of something and go, right, okay, let's pick your brains. Let's see how you do it. So yeah, love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right, Anna, that some people in the industry, and in every industry, can be quite fear-based and sort of feel like, oh, I can't share this because maybe I'm not doing well enough, and then maybe you'll take something from me. And it's a shame, but we understand, that comes from fear and it's not personal. But the people that we get to work with, I feel like they've matured past that stage where they're not afraid, and they love jewelry making. They love sharing with other people. And they also have a similar belief to us that if someone else does better, we're all going to do better, because we're all part of a network, which is so lovely to be part of. So yes, so industry specific knowledge will be covered, and it's always evolving a little bit. So, whatever there's always more to learn. And I think that's what's great about having a team, is that it's not just one person's knowledge, but it's across the board, and different people have different areas of specialism. So great. Well, we don't have to worry about that one anymore. So that brings us on to number 2, which I definitely can relate to. And I hope that everyone can. In running a business, in running a life, is overwhelm. So if you ever feel overwhelmed with what to do next, how to create the kind of success that you want for yourself, how to keep on top of everything, how to feel that kind of balance, then this is something that we really focus on in the course as well. And the antidote to overwhelm is definitely focus. And the kind of mantras that I like around it are one thing at a time. What's the next thing? Just keeping it in the day. What am I doing today? Rather than always thinking about how am I going to get to this stage? We do like to zoom out and take a big picture, but then it's coming back to, right, what's the next thing? And how can I get that done to the best of my ability? So the way that we kind of cover this topic in the course is that we've broken everything down into monthly themes. So there are 12 core themes that we focus on throughout the course, topics such as pricing and finance, email marketing, social media, products and collections. The list goes on, launching, I'm trying to remember, branding. So we're not doing everything all at once, but we're saying, okay, this month, this is the theme, and we're going to spend the whole month together working on it. And the great thing about that is if you do that every year, not just for the 1 year, you will cover everything in your jewelry business, because you'll have spent a month that year updating your branding, looking at all of that, a month looking at your website, updating all of that, a month focusing on your email marketing, a month looking at your pricing, and it's really manageable. It's really achievable within that time. Anna, do you want to chat a bit about the monthly themes as well and how they can help without overwhelm?
Yeah, it's so true, because I think wherever we're at in business, we know that we've got lots of plates to spin. We've got lots of things to kind of try and keep hold of, and some of them we enjoy more than others as well. So I think that can sometimes key into it a little bit too. So I think what's brilliant about this is we do know we need to have the plate spinning. We need to kind of keep everything moving. But the problem can be is if we scatter our focus and we run from here to there to there, we know just psychologically that it doesn't work. That we just we if we can have that real focus time, and that's why it's brilliant to have a month to really delve into something and get something done. That's the key to actually getting the year done, really, because if we're forever, like I said, running from one thing to another, we're just working very much on the surface, and we're just fighting fires, and we're not actually doing anything. We're not really making progress. So sometimes we need to take all of our energy and put that into that one thing and really nail that. And then the next month, we nail the next thing. Like, for example, they're working on email marketing at the moment, and that's a brilliant one to really work on, because you've got like your welcome email, you've got an email pop-up, you've got abandoned cart email. There's a lot to go into, which you can do in a month, but you can't do if you're just scattering and moving here, there, and everywhere. So it is about that focus. And when you have done that, and when you've got some things working and you've got a plan and you've got a schedule, then you can look at the surface, you can look back on it and go, okay, what do I need to just quickly do now? But having that focus, I think it seems a bit counterintuitive, because you're like, well, if I'm focusing on this, then something else isn't happening. But the fact of the matter is, I've heard you say it many times, it's like, we have time. We can worry that we've got to do absolutely everything now, but it's not possible. So what we need to do is play the long game. We need to work on those things that are really important to get those. I call it like the invisible architecture of our business. It's like the things that maybe people don't necessarily see on the surface, but that are really important to build. And even if you have an existing business and you've been growing for a number of years, perhaps, there's still more that you can do to really build that up and really bolster that thing. So that's why I think this focus that we've got now. It's why the boot camp was amazing, but it was a boot camp, and it was really full on, and it was all there, and it was all in 8 weeks, and it just, the overwhelm kind of kicked in. And so this is why we've spread that out more this time, and it definitely is working.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I love the monthly focuses, and we'll move on to talk a little bit about the additional things around that. But you've got your content, your monthly kind of knowledge training, if you like, and there's also lots of support. And I think there's something about us all going through the same thing together. So like you said, at the moment, it's email marketing month, and the months aren't random. We've thought very long and hard about what goes where. So we're currently in September. Email marketing is going to be key to the Christmas sales season. So that focus is now. The next month is about launching, which is about selling things. So, and then earlier on in the year, it's things like setting your vision, your goals, your action plans. So it's kind of training you as well how to run a business, because we want to be doing these things each year around this sort of time. So it really, but having the support as well at the same time that we're all going through it together. So when we're asking questions, someone else is also working on the same thing. It's similar to the diplomas in that way. With the diplomas, you're working each week on the same projects. So it's more weekly, but the monthly themes really help us to come together and focus on those things. And I love what you said, Anna, about it's a bit counterintuitive because you've got to almost drop other things to focus.
Yeah.
But what it means is that month is coming up. So, for example, if you're not making very much this month because you're focused on email marketing, there's a month all about signature style and making pieces and creating new collections. So it's covered. It's in the plan. It's in the schedule. So you can just kind of relax and take it easy and enjoy the month you're in and just fully commit to it. So monthly themes, definitely check. We're not going to be overwhelmed. We're going to be focused. And yeah, we've got our industry specific knowledge. We've got our focus, which brings us on to number 3, which again, I think we all know this beast well. It is procrastination. And particularly for creatives, I think it can be a unique challenge because I feel like you can't create all the time. You can't create on demand. If someone puts loads of pressure on you to create, for me anyway, the flow kind of goes away. And so I often have to wait for the time to be right. But with our business, there's always lots of different things that we can be doing. And having some help with this procrastination can be really, really helpful. So we want to move into accountability. I think one of the best ways to avoid procrastination is to have someone checking in and saying, so how's it going? What did you get done today? And not in a way where we're going to shame anyone. If they didn't get something done, it's okay to have days where, when nothing really happens. But it's great to be able to say, oh, I ticked this off my list, or I feel good about this. And sharing that journey with someone else and having that accountability, it's so helpful. We've seen it with the diplomas, haven't we, Anna? That before we ran diplomas, we ran individual courses. Loads of people would sign up. And, maybe 50% of people would do it, which is actually great for online courses because the statistics show a lot less. So if you've ever bought an online course in anything and not taken it, you are totally not alone. That is the norm. But with our diplomas, we have, I think it's a 99% completion rate. So it's pretty much everybody does it. And the reason why is the accountability that's built in terms of mentoring, marking, and the structures and the commitment that people make to it. So it's the same with the Jewellery Business Academy. And one of the ways, there's quite a few ways we help with accountability, but one of them is the monthly group calls. So every month you'll be put into a small group and you're in the same group every month. So you'll get to know people in your group and you'll be talking around the topic. So again, this month's email marketing. So the groups are talking around email marketing. They've got questions and prompts and things to help the conversation to flow. You're put into small breakout rooms where you'll talk with maybe 3 or 4 other jewelers and ask some questions. What emails have worked for you? What providers do you use? What emails led to sales? What are you doing next with your email marketing? And all of this is set up to encourage you to get the answers you need, but also to get that support and that accountability. Because when they see you next month and they say, so how did it go with that welcome email sequence you were creating? You get to share, oh, yes, I completed it and it feels amazing. Or actually, I haven't managed to complete it, but I've made a good start. So the accountability is really key. Anna, I know you feel strongly about this one as well. So
I do.
come in.
I do want to chime in on this because this for a lot of people is the thing that really feels like it holds us back. And the overwhelm that we just talked about can be part of procrastination as well, because we can feel like, oh, I don't know, I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to do first. There seems to be a lot to do. But I think September's an interesting time to be listening to this podcast, if you are listening to it, as in the month we're recording it, because a lot of us, even if we don't set New Year's resolutions or anything like that, in January we have some like really big ideas and goals for our year. And September can almost be another new year. And we look back on it and think, goodness, how is it 9 months gone? Like, how has this happened? When it's nearly October. And it's almost like, and we really mean it. We really want to do those things. And then we turn around and then suddenly time is just passing really, it's just passing really fast, as we all know. So I think what investing in the JBA does for you is helps you with that focus and that accountability of like, right, yeah, this is what I'm doing this year. This is what I'm focusing on. This is where I want my focus to be, because I want to grow my business. And for some people, that might be to be able to grow their business so that they can quit the day job. And for some people, it might be, this is a side hustle and I want to just keep it as a side hustle. And for some people, it is your business and you're like, right, I need to get to the next level. So for all of us, it is about that sustained doing that can sometimes be like the hardest thing to do. And that's why that so much of the way that we've structured the Jewellery Business Academy is around that. It's around helping you do that for yourself.
Absolutely, yes. And you're worth it. I know it sounds so cheesy, but you are, because there's, I get every now and then we get comments or people posting saying that they've run a jewelry business for 10 or 20 years and it's still not been successful. And I always feel so bad for those people, because I think, gosh, how difficult, how difficult to run any business for that long without getting the kind of success, whatever that means to you. And for a lot of us, it's not that much, we just want to make a living. For most jewelers are happy if they're making a living and they're doing something they enjoy and they've got a nice, kind of group of customers. And it's not rocket science, is what I always kind of say. But what I tend to say to people if they say that their business has not been successful is, I say, what business training have you done? What jewelry business training have you done? And what marketing are you doing? And almost every time the answer is none. and it's such a shame, because that they're the tools in how to grow a successful business. It's not everything, but it's a huge part of it. And how wonderful is it that we have that solution, we have the support, and we're able to offer that to people that want it and that are able to access it. So yeah, the good news is if you're not doing lots of jewelry business training and you're not doing lots of marketing and your business hasn't been successful yet, then that all makes sense to me. And there is a solution, and it's not quick. I'm not going to say, within a year your business will be profitable, because most businesses take at least 3 years to become profitable. But you'll be on that journey. You'll be starting that marathon, which we can gently do together. It doesn't need to be sort of go hard or go home. It's a gentle kind of movement each day towards where we want to go. And of course, we often say it's the journey, not the destination. And so enjoying that process, enjoying the excitement of, oh, I've got my first order, or this has been my first profitable month, and all those little baby milestones, and sharing them with people who genuinely care about them and know how exciting that is to be able to do for yourself. Because running a business for someone else or working in corporate or something like that, it's easier because you're following a kind of mold. But when we're doing it for ourselves, it's so much more personal. And I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done around our mindset as well, which is another thing we cover a lot in the Jewellery Business Academy, to feel that confidence, that clarity, all those things, to feel like, okay, I've got this, I'm moving forwards, I can overcome the challenges, and I'm growing, which is a wonderful kind of place to be. So, okay, so in terms of procrastination, we have accountability, and we've got our monthly group calls. And it's just so nice to hear about the monthly group calls. So there's mentors inside the group calls. So you'll chat with mentors, you'll chat with your fellow students, and you all kind of cheer each other on and lift each other up and celebrate each other's successes. And many people go on to be friends after the program and stay in touch and sort of have this little network of people as well. So it's a wonderful thing. Which brings us on to number 4, and this one is it's a big one as well. Number 4 is isolation. So it can be so easy for jewelers to isolate. A lot of jewelers are introverts, not all of them, but a lot of people like making at the bench. And I hear a lot of people say, all I want to do is make stuff and not have to talk to anyone. And that's it. And that's not everyone. There are outgoing jewelers as well, and there's no judgment on which one you may be. But feeling alone with your business, it's probably the biggest killer of jewelry business success. Feeling like you're the only person, or just not having that connection with others, not being able to ask questions, not being able to learn from a community is really, really the hard way. So connection is so important. Connection with other makers, with other jewelers, connection with people who've been before you and can offer some support and mentoring, and also connection to your customers. That's how we sell, is through connection. So learning how to do this and to give it to ourselves and also to offer it to others is a really essential part of running a jewelry business. So we have lots of ways to help with connection, but one of the core ways is the community Facebook group. So as part of Jewellery Academy, the Jewellery Business Academy, you'll be in a Facebook group of other students going through the same course at the exact same time as you. And it is honestly the most lovely Facebook group. Everyone is so supportive. People are sharing what's going on for them. They're sharing their brand boards. They're sharing their packaging. They're sharing their pricing and saying, does this feel right? They're sharing their challenges. A customer has emailed something and I don't know how to respond, help. And because you know each other already, it's such a safe space to be able to get support. And, we encourage people to support each other. You will have knowledge from things that you've already done in life that you can bring to other people. It may be that you're an accountant in another job and someone's asking an accounting-based question and you can come in and say, oh, this is how I would deal with that. Or it may be, that you've had experience with some jewelry making that you can share. So that skill, sharing that peer-to-peer support in the Facebook group is such a core part of the program as well. Anna, do you want to share a bit about isolation, connection, and also the Facebook group?
Yes, I mean, I hope that you have support from your friends and family. Not everyone does. And if that is the case for you, then this could be even doubly more important for you to have to find your found family, as it were, your jewelry family. Certainly, if you've been in the Jewelers Academy world, in the community for a while, hopefully you already feel a part of that, and how giving and how loving this community absolutely is. But it can be difficult, we can be we may not know other business people, we just in our day-to-day lives, that a lot of us, we go straight into the workplace, and so our friends are in that, and they don't necessarily, well, they might be supportive, they don't necessarily understand the day-to-day issues of running and growing a business. So I think it's such a brilliant thing to be a part of this. And as you said at the beginning, we feel like, we can all win. We're all doing our own things. We've all got our own types of customers. We've all got our own types of jewelry making and things that we want to do. It's not like there can only be one jeweler in the world, because that's absolutely not the way it is. And so having that support network is so key in keeping going, and having someone to lean on in those moments, and also to be the person who supports others in those moments when they need it as well. And that, I think that's such a big part of it, and that's worldwide as well, which is amazing. It's to be able to connect with people from all over the world, and to hear more about the world that they live in as well. It's just such a great thing, and I think the Facebook group is brilliant. It is also staffed, so we do have Jewelers Academy staff in there, kind of keeping an eye on it, and also there to answer your questions and to just provide support outside of that monthly call time, which of course is also great for the not feeling isolated and things as well. So it's all part and parcel of building that support for you. And we really encourage you to log in there as often as you want, but weekly would be great to just kind of just nip in and see what's going on and what people are chatting about and get involved.
Yes, absolutely. And you just reminded me of some of the things that go on in there other than just the questions and the day-to-day kind of stuff. Is we often ask, what are your wins, for this month in your business? And it's so lovely to read those posts because everyone's sharing, I did a craft fair and I sold 10 pieces, or, I've got accepted into a gallery or a shop. And I think in a world where there's so much negative news, out there, whether we choose to seek it or not, and even in the jewelry industry, I remember when I started, there was just this message from almost everyone of like, well, that's going to be really hard and that's a saturated market and all of these things that are just super unhelpful and not even really necessarily based on reality. It's just a perception that someone has about an industry that they really know nothing about. And it's, again, fear-based rather than faith-based, or sort of basing it on something that you want, a vision, an idea, some hope. So it's lovely. And there's so many wins, everybody is winning pretty much every month. And yes, we also have the challenges. It's not to deny that, but to say, look at what's happening, look at this progress, and really kind of cheer each other on. So lots of positivity, lots of good vibes, but also there for the challenges as well. So love the face.
As well, just one last thing is, I think it can expand our horizons a little bit as well, because when we don't have anything to kind of compare ourselves against, not compare ourselves, but just other people around us, it's amazing to hear those wins and go, okay, maybe next month I can just push that a little bit harder and just what not harder, because it's not saying you're working harder, but maybe I can just set my sights a little higher. That's what I mean. And I think that can be really inspiring to hear those stories and go, okay, yeah, maybe I could go for that gallery that I've been a bit like, oh, could I possibly, that imposter syndrome side of things, could I possibly go for it? And people will be cheering you on, going, yes, go for it, So I think it's part of that as well. It's part of that, and it kind of coming into the next point as well. So
yeah, it's infectious. And I love this quote that I can't even remember where it's from now, but it says, and I believe it, that our environment makes up 80% of our success. So we do the 20%, but the rest is about, everything to do with our environment, where we're born, the people that we're around, the education that we have, what we see around us. And it kind of takes away if you have been struggling or you've struggled earlier in life, and from it being about you getting it wrong. It's not that. It's that maybe you weren't in the right environment. But luckily now, as adults and as people who have a certain amount of control over our own destiny, we can choose. We get to choose who we spend time with. We get to choose where we place our focus. We get to choose to log into the group every week and share our wins. And when we choose the good environments for us, the things that lift us up, the places where people just only want the best for us, we really start to shine and thrive. And having some awareness that it makes a huge difference. If you've got someone at home who perhaps, again, is a bit more fear-based and says, oh, I don't know about that, I'm not sure you should do that, all these kind of things. It's always good to check, first of all, what's their credibility? Are they running a successful jewelry business? Probably not. And then go to someone who has what you want, someone who already is doing the thing that you want to do, and maybe ask them. And at least that's a little bit more of a positive input. So many good things. But yes, coming on to the next one, because I feel like we could talk about each one all day.
Yes, definitely.
So the next kind of mistake, I'm not sure mistake is quite the right word, but challenges that we face is confidence. And I think it's like a lack of confidence. And yeah, it's very linked to what we were talking about, this kind of not being sure, not going for it, playing it safe a little bit. And the kind of antidote to that for me is really backing yourself and going for it and making that decision that it's okay. I like what you said about trial and error involves error. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, we encourage mistakes. If you're not making a mistake most days, you're probably not really going for something. So this kind of comes down to me as well, investing in yourself. So there's a reason why we don't make all of our courses free, partly because we're a business and we need to pay our bills as well. But it does do a disservice. And there's this notion that when people pay, they pay attention. And what that means to me is that when we invest in ourselves, we're sending a message to ourselves that I'm gonna commit to this. I'm gonna go for it. I am worth this investment, and I'm gonna see what happens. So that sort of backing ourselves, I think, is so important. And I've definitely noticed it with myself over the years when I've sometimes put a scary amount of money into something. I've had to kind of step up, or I've just naturally stepped up and gone, okay, well, I guess this is who I am now. This is what we're doing, because we're all just humans, aren't we? And everyone is equally precious and valuable. But to feel that, what are the ways that we feel that? And I think one of the ways we feel good about our own self-confidence is saying, I'm investing in myself. I'm putting the time, the effort, the money, the energy into something that I care about. And that really builds self-esteem, confidence, and helps our business to thrive. Again, Anna, I know you'll agree with a lot of this. Yes, maybe you can chat a bit about the confidence piece.
Yeah, it is so key. And I think it is one of those things where sometimes we're like, well, when I feel more confident, I will act. But we know, like we all know that it doesn't go that way round. It's like we need to take that step. And that's where the confidence will come from. And it is about, it's not about going too far out of your comfort zone, but it is about going out of it, because that's the only place we can grow. And so lacking in confidence is one of those things. And honestly, wherever we're at, we're always kind of spiraling upwards, and there's always going to be, we're always going to hit something. We're like, oh, it's just a new level of it. And then we keep going back up again. It isn't that ends. And we also know that our brains, this is what my psychology background coming out, but our brains have a negativity bias. Our brains are there to keep us, our mind is there to keep us safe. It isn't about keeping us happy. It's not about helping us grow. It's all about keeping us safe. So I know. So as long as we know that, as long as we understand that, I just like to think of your mind as like this cautious friend that's going, are you sure? But what if what if it goes wrong? And what if this happens? And we like, yes. And I think it's back to that thing of investing in ourselves, backing ourselves. It's like, this is the thing that I am doing. It's kind of energetically doing that. And like you say, it's in the doing of it, but it's also in, the taking the time, the scheduling the time, the turning up and going to the calls. But it is about that financial investment as well. And I just want to put in there that, of course, because it's a business expense, it counts as a business expense. So, this is an investment in yourself and in your training. And it's not just a one-off thing. This is knowledge that you will have, like full stop, forever. This is the knowledge that is going to bring you forwards, and it will be that big leap forwards over the year.
Absolutely. And this course is incredibly good value for money as well, I'd say, everything that is covered. So it really is a great investment to make in ourselves. And I feel like every jeweler should do it at some point. And, I know I have a bias there, but I really do believe that. I wouldn't be able to say it out loud if I didn't. And just learning from all these incredible people and their knowledge and everything, and being able to access it anywhere in the world is just, an incredible resource. And yeah, I love what you kind of shared, around this sort of, just investing in ourselves and how that builds the confidence. And I think it's, what you shared about not waiting till you're ready. That was it. Because It's hard. I'm very rarely feel ready for anything.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm not ready for today. But you get into routines, don't you? You're like, well, it's happening. It's going to happen whether I'm ready for it or not. And either I can, be in the driving seat and kind of take some control and feel good about it, or I can just get dragged along. It's sort of like, yeah, I definitely feel better about myself when I'm investing in myself, and I feel better about just trying. And I think another thing that came up for me as you were sharing is this willingness to get it wrong, because I think a lot of the reason why people don't invest in themselves, or the times when I haven't, is because I think, well, what if I can't do it? What if I don't even log on to the course? What if, I don't like anyone in the Facebook group? What if I don't even like Facebook groups? All of these kind of little things that creep in, and it's just saying, well, even with all of that, I'm just going to go for it because it's worth it. And what I hear people say time and time again is, I wish I had done it sooner. That kind of that slight regret of, I wish I had known about this before. A decade ago when I was starting my business, I wish this was here. So, that kind of speaks to the idea of doing it before you're ready, because by the time you're ready, it might be that you wish you'd done it a lot earlier. So, yeah, some interesting.
It's true. I've heard this thing that ready, we think that ready is a feeling, that I'm going to feel ready, but ready is actually an action. Ready is a decision, like, this is what I'm going to do. And I think that's the difference. That's the key difference there. I think that's such a good point.
Yeah, and it's quite a gentle program. Like it is intense in some ways, but it's also gentle in that you've got a whole month to work through things. And we generally recommend sort of 2 to 3 hours a week in terms of time commitment. You can obviously put in more, but it's very manageable, watching some videos here and there, doing some work on your business here and there. So even if you're working full time, you've got lots of other commitments, you can fit it in around everything, which is brilliant. Okay, what number are we on? I think we're on 6.
6, yeah.
Yes.
6.
So 6 is around, so I kind of I couldn't quite find the word for this, but for me it was fear, and feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think the opposite to that, and by the way, we all feel that no matter how much training we've done, no matter how much success we've had, there's always going to be those moments. So that really speaks to this idea of, it's not a feeling, it's an action. That sort of, I guess it's sort of imposter syndrome as well, isn't it?
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking imposter syndrome maybe is the way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is imposter syndrome. And it's so funny working with jewelers who've got, sometimes 50 years worth of experience and still have imposter syndrome, because it's just like, wow, it just confirms to me this has nothing to do with skills. It has nothing to do with time. It's separate to all of that. And it's a feeling. It is a feeling. It is not the truth of the situation. So what's the antidote to that? Credibility. Feeling credible, feeling like I've got the credentials. I know what I'm doing. I've had training. And it kind of ties into confidence as well. But I think credibility is slightly different. It's they're all very linked, but it's this idea of, no, actually, I've been trained for this. I know how to do this. So Anna, I'm going to let you talk about this one because it's an interesting one, and there's some updates for this year which we're excited to share.
There are some updates for this year. I think you're right in terms of just doing a year's worth of really specific jewelry business growth training. That's the credibility that's there. But this year, I should give a drum roll or something here, but we have been working with CPD, which is continuing professional development. And this program is an accredited CPD program. And that means that it's still going through, honestly, it's still going through the process. We're in September, but it's there, it's happening. There will be things that you'll need to do in order to get that accreditation, as in the certification. You can absolutely decide not to do that if you prefer. You can do the program without having that certification. But I think sometimes having that stamp of approval and that certificate and that externally accredited certification can sometimes be something that can be quite helpfully motivating for some people, and to kind of help keep you on track as well. So there will be things that you'll need to do. We're going to come into one of them, which is in a second, which is around writing a business growth plan. But there will be some things that you'll need to do and submit in terms of completing your accreditation. And we will help you with this. There'll be plenty of time to do it, and you'll get the support in order to do that. But I think it's around having that credibility and thinking, this is what I'm working towards. Yes, it's around the knowledge and being able and feeling more confident around yourself as a jewelry business entrepreneur. But it is also about having that credibility of that accreditation and that certification in jewelry business.
Absolutely. I do think that things like awards, certificates, these kind of milestones that mark our progress in our business journey are really important. As much as we like to maybe think that we're above them and we don't need them, it reminds me back to like swimming badges and stuff, when you're a kid, or like scout badges or whatever. It's very motivating. It's like, oh, I got this badge or I got this sticker. And I think it's a celebration of progress. And it helps us to mark them. And like going back to what you said before, Anna, about the brain having this negative bias, it's a real antidote to that, because there will be days where self-doubt really creeps in or is on you, or perhaps a customer has complained about your pricing and you're like doubting yourself, oh my goodness, did I get this wrong? And these things really help in terms of just facts. Like, well, I've done a year's worth of training. I've got a certificate. I do know what I'm doing. So it's almost acts as a safety net for me of sort of reminding myself, no, I do know what I'm doing. And I think they are really important. And as well as that celebration, an opportunity to celebrate and to share with people around you, like we said, hopefully you have some supportive people or some lovely people, even if they're perhaps not able to be supportive, but and you're able to say, well, look, I got my certificate, and get people involved, and it's a great way to talk about your business as well. It's something you can obviously hang up if you're in a shop or an open space or a workshop, and it just reminds you that you're pretty awesome, and of all these things that you've put in, and of all the hard work and all the commitment and how it's paying off. So yeah, I'm excited that we've got, we're working on, and we've pretty much got the external accreditation. We don't need it, but it's really nice to have. And it's great that we're able to offer that now as well. So brilliant. Okay, we're getting there. 2 more to go. Hopefully you can relate to some of them. I'd love to hear, come and join the conversation afterwards over on Instagram and share with us which ones can you relate to and what would you like support with. So the next one I love as well. And this is around, so the mistake is having a lack of strategy and just sort of winging it in the business, which is fine at the beginning. We're finding our feet, we're figuring stuff out. But eventually that can feel exhausting, I think, to just every day trying to think, what am I going to do? How am I going to grow this business? And not having any sort of structure or strategy or plan in place. And this has helped me so much with my business, especially because I like to dot around and like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. Let's do this other thing. And then suddenly I've got 28 things I've committed to. And I think, oh dear, I'm not going to manage all of this. So strategy really helps me to pace myself. We talked about the fact that we do have time. We're going to be running these businesses for a decade, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe more. So there is time. We can stretch that timeline and we can do all the things we want to do, just maybe not all at once. And we'll enjoy them much more that way as well. So our way of combating this lack of strategy is to put a strategy in place in the form of the Jewellery Business Growth Plan. So we are writing a really cool business plan together throughout the course of the year. And you have the whole year to write it, but you're not going to write it all at once. So you'll be guided through the content, through the training each month to add a little bit more to it. So the first month is on setting goals. It's on the strategy. It's a little bit about yourself. So we write a few pages and I show you, I've made one, which there's a copy of inside the Jewellery Business Academy. So you can look at it. You can make make it your own. And the great thing about building a business plan is it really kind of covers all the things we're talking about. It's backing yourself. It's really giving words to the vision that you have in your head. And the great thing about when you write things out is you discover a bit more. I often thought before I wrote a business plan, well, I kind of know what I'm doing, so I don't need to write it down. And then once I wrote it down, it expanded. And I was like, oh, I couldn't hold all of that in my head at the same time. So I've got a lot bigger picture now. And we make them really beautiful so we can add in images and branding. It's like, Anna said, there's no rush. So we've got the whole year to work on it so we can really make it our own. And you will leave at the end of the year with this document that really summarizes where your business is at and where it's going, which I think helps with all the things we've been talking about, the backing yourself, the credibility, the accountability. It's all kind of tied up in there. So you have this tangible document that you have created, like a mini book about your business, to help you going forwards. And you don't need to do one of these necessarily every year. You can, but it's something you might do every few years. And it just really helps to kind of solidify where you're at and where you're headed. So Anna, I don't know if you want to chime in on this one as well.
Yes. So this will form a big part of your accreditation. So submitting this by the deadline and completing this will certainly be part of, getting your accreditation with CPD accreditation. But what I think I really like about all of this is, and I like to sort of put this out there for people, because I think with a jewelry business particularly, we can work quite seasonally, because I think when we work for a business, a lot of times it's, you turn up, you do your hours, and it's the same all of the time. And I think a lot of us want to have more time freedom. So we might want, we might have busy times and less busy times. And we might want to travel. We might have young kids, so the summers we need some time off. So I think what's nice about having this growth plan is it's not about becoming like a millstone around your neck that's saying you have to do this in a certain way. This is about the decisions that you are consciously making about how your business is going to grow, what you're going to invest your time in, and what you're going to love making. It's about that, and that's what I love about the growth plan. It's like you said, it's kind of putting that down, but as it expands and it becomes even more, because you've got it to look at and to refer to. And to keep you accountable and keep you on track. So it's a brilliant thing to be working on, definitely.
Yes, I love that, what you shared about time freedom. And I think that's so important to remember why we're doing what we're doing and what we want out of it. And the fact that it's your business. So you get to choose how you run it. You get to choose what you're doing, and there may be some things that you have to choose that aren't exactly what you want, but for the most part, you can make it. You can make it however you want it. And I'm incredibly lucky with my business because I get to do something that I love, and I know you're similar, Anna. And then I get to take off pretty much the whole summer holidays to spend with my son and also my partner and his two boys, and that's a huge privilege, to have all of that time. It doesn't always feel like time off with 4 boys, but it is, and it's making those memories and doing all of those things. And the only reason I can do that is because we have strategy in place that allows for that focuses on, okay, when are we doing, our big marketing bits? When are we creating? When are we supporting different people? And how, for us, it's a slightly bigger business. So how do we have a team to help with that? But you can do that too. And it's thinking about, what do you want? Like, do you want to have the summer off? Or is that not really a goal for you? Do you want to not work evenings? Do you not want to work mornings? Do you not want to work on Mondays? Like, what is it that would make you feel good in your business? And really kind of, I think it's also breaking some patterns. I've noticed with some of the people that we work with when they come and work for Jewellery Academy and there's more flexibility, it's like, not feeling guilty about choosing things. And it's not saying that you're not going to work at all, because if you're running a jewelry business, hopefully you love working and it's a big passion of yours, but you get to choose, and there's no 9 to 5. there's no boss, there's no one sort of telling you what to do. And there is fear that can come with that, which is why we've got all this additional support that we need in our training and the communities and all those kind of things, but also that freedom. And that starts with the strategy and making those decisions and then working around it. Okay, what do I need to do to make that a reality? So yeah, exciting times. Okay. Last but not least, number 8. And this, again, very linked to a lot of things we've been talking about. But number 8 for us was self-doubt, not believing in ourselves, worrying. I think worrying about, oh, am I doing it right? Can I do it? I can't do it. All of these terms. I'll never, I'm not as good as the other person. I think comparison comes in here as well. And just that, again, that negative self-talk that can come in of it's too late for, whatever the thing is, it's too late. My kids are too young. It can be ridiculous things. I'm not skinny enough. I don't look good enough to go on reels. Like, our mind can come up. It's very creative, really, with lots of unhelpful phrases to prevent us. And this is where we spoke a bit about the community as well, and seeing others doing it actually is a bit of an antidote for that. It says, well, maybe I could. They're doing it. Maybe I could try. But what we spoke about around this point was about having clarity. So seeing things clearly, seeing the truth of things. So it's not about saying, oh, I can do everything, because probably that's a lot as well. And that's a lot of pressure to put on ourselves. But what's clarity? Where can we find this kind of clarity of thought and mind where we find that balance of, oh no, I can do this, and this is what's next for me. And the thing that the Jewellery Business Academy helps with this is the one-to-ones. And this is probably one of the most valuable parts of the course, is that every year that you join us for this program, you get a one-to-one with a mentor on our team. And we have a big team of mentors with experience across the board in different areas. But what's great is they are jewelers and they have different areas of specialism, and we match you. So you will fill out a short form saying an area that you want to focus on. It's a 45-minute one-to-one that you do over Zoom at a time that works for you. So you might say, I'm really struggling with my social media. I'm not reaching the right customers. I've got the wrong people following me. People are not buying. This is what I need support with. So we're like, great, we know someone who's doing that really well, someone like Kelly Twig, and we say, okay, we're going to match you. You'll get a one-to-one with that person. They'll already know your issues. They will have read your information, looked at your business beforehand, and you'll be able to just really dive into that topic. Or equally, you might say, I'm really struggling with wholesaling. I don't know how to approach shops or galleries, or I've tried, or I'm struggling with expanding that network. Brilliant. We know someone who's exhibiting in 20 plus shops and galleries. You're going to get 45 minutes with them to ask them anything and get support from them. And this, I think, is worth the course fee in itself because it's so tailored. But come join in, Anna, and share a bit about your thoughts around this.
Yeah, I was just exactly thinking that, because I've just worked with somebody, and it was a kind of a 4-week thing, and I had 2 one-to-ones with them, and it was the same cost as this program, and it was absolutely worth it. And so, I really feel I just want people to really understand how important that is. And it's that there may well be, like, even now, you might be like, right, this one thing, if I could just nail this in 45 minutes, which you can, when you are really talking to an expert in that area, you can really like blast through everything that is holding you back in that one area. And you can, and that will really make a massive difference to where you go from there. So, it's such a big thing. It's not something we had as part of the boot camp. This is new for Jewellery Business Academy. And we have an amazing team. And what's great is you kind of basically fill out a form and you say what you need help with. And we have a really amazing, strong, big team to pull from. And we can go, we know exactly the right person to work with you on that. And, and we'll match you up. So it is a fantastic thing. It's definitely worth, like you say, worth the price of the course, really, in itself, to have that support plus everything else. Um, and it can, yeah, it's just having that person to ask those questions. It's, yeah, go for it. This is
Yeah.
why you should do it.
Definitely. And I think, for those of you that are new and at the beginning of the journey and thinking, gosh, I don't even know what I'd ask, we don't do it until a few months in. So you get a bit of time to warm up. And even if it's that and saying, I just don't know where to start, or I've started, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. There's always something that we can match you with to really help move you on. And I think it's nice to have someone look at your business and give you feedback and say, this is what you're doing really well. These are the areas that would really help to move you forwards. And again, it's that connection, isn't it? That somebody is paying attention to what you're doing and giving you feedback. And that is always helpful, I think. So yeah, we're super passionate about it, as you can tell, because I think for me, I see the results. And we'll be sharing in the podcast coming up over the next few months some of the students and what they've been up to and the successes that they've had. And the success isn't because of us; it's because of them, that they made the decision to invest in themselves. They put the time and effort in. They showed up. But we are a tool. We are like part of the facilitation. We create those opportunities and we get to be part of the journey, which is a huge privilege for us as well. So yes, just can't wait to get started. Bring on January. We're ready to go. I don't think there's anything else to share, is there, Anna? Just a quick recap of the 8 mistakes and how we can combat them. We had a lack of industry-specific knowledge, which is combated with the course content, the training, the information. We had number 2 was overwhelm, which we rectify with focus and having these monthly themes and these areas that we can deep dive into one at a time. Then we had procrastination, which we combat with accountability, with monthly group calls, in connection with others, checking in on each other, seeing how we're getting on. Number 4 was isolation, which we replaced with connection through the Facebook group, also the monthly group calls and the one-to-ones. As a whole, you're surrounded by connection. As much as you like will be available. Number 5 is confidence, lack of confidence. And instead, we're going to be investing in ourselves, feeling good about our decisions, going for it, backing ourselves. Number 6, though, is I just remembered what it was. I've written down fear, but it was imposter syndrome, kind of linked. And we replaced that with credibility through getting an accredited qualification, CPD accredited, and also just completing a whole year's worth of study dedicated to growing your jewelry business. Number 7 was a lack of strategy, which we replaced with creating a jewelry business growth plan to really take forward your business. And number 8 was that self-doubt. And we replaced that with clarity, with one-to-one, so that you can really get solutions on specific topics related to your business. So it is available. You can sign up today, get started. We will start sending out resources. The course doesn't start until early January, but we will be doing lots of warm-up things. So the earlier you sign up, the more you can kind of get involved with those. We've got some webinars coming up and all sorts of things to really help you through the Christmas sales season, and then into building your business next year and growing them together. Any final thoughts, Anna, before we finish?
I was just going to add as well that we do have the opportunity to spread the cost. So you can choose to pay in full, or you can spread the cost over 12 months as well. So, kind of starting your payment plan now will help to kind of finish that earlier as well. But I'm just so super excited to see the next intake of the Jewellery Business Academy and to get to work with you all. It's a brilliant course, and this is, as we've talked, has evolved over a number of years in terms of the amount of business training that we have been giving people, and it's just, we're really proud of this one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Best one so far. Definitely. Wonderful. Well, if you have any questions or need any support with making a decision, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us, or you can come find us on Instagram. And we'll put a link to where to sign up in the show notes, as well as how to get in touch. And we just wish you the best of luck. If you have listened and thought, actually, I would really like to start or grow a jewelry business, let's do it together. Come join us. And we can't wait to get training together with you. So thanks, Anna, again, so much for coming and sharing your thoughts and ideas and wisdom. And we will see you guys on another episode very soon. Have a lovely rest of your week and take care. Bye for now.